When Rosetta performed its closed flyby to the comet, it skimmed merely 8 kilometers above its surface. This happened on Valentine's Day. After 7 months of intense courtship, finally Rosetta stole a kiss. Perhaps the choice of the date was not meaningless. After the flyby, Rosetta's pilots at ESA control room adjusted its trajectory with another set of maneuvers, resulting this time in a remarkable square orbit, like a castle. That is space cubism again. Actually, this isn't the first time we see the nucleus of a comet. In the past, at least 5 comets were visited by other missions. The first image of a nucleus was that of Halley's from another European mission, Giotto. It revealed how the graceful tails of comets arise from irregular bodies of ice, similar to huge icebergs floating between the orbits of the planets. But this is the first time we dare to touch a comet. Touching the unknown is a threatening experience. If standing before you is one of the oldest objects in the solar system, touching it is an ancestral contact between ages separated by billions of years. It reminds the shivering of the astronauts on the moon when they touched the mysterious monolith in Stanley Kubrick's Space Odyssey. The unknown surface of Comet 67P represents another kind of monolith, the Rosetta Stone. It was used to understand the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. 2,000 years after it was carved, we sent the Rosetta mission to decrypt the birth of the solar system. And the hysteria became for the first time global. In America, the sales of anti-gas masks literally rocketed to the sky. In Chicago, someone started selling Portento's anti-comet pills. In Boston, they rang fire alarms at the sight of the comet. While in New York, they threw comet parties on hotel roofs. Satirical postcards from France and Germany illustrated the desperate escape of men towards the moon on board of unlikely zeppelins. But the day after, all of mankind still could take a full breath. The deadly caress of Halley's comet to the Earth had not been that poisonous in the end. It extends up to 1 light year from the Sun. Over there, at least 100 billion comets slowly move in silence since 5 billion years, and they never did anything else. Comets are frozen books on the origin of the solar system, until some star nearby may push them toward the Sun. Then their long journey begins, a never-ending fall that cannot be stopped, a constant acceleration that seems never to grow speed. It can take millions of years for a comet to fall, but as they zip by the Sun at perihelion, their turnaround only takes a few hours. Then they go away, maybe forever, following their paths, perhaps open, perhaps closed. They are parabolic, hyperbolic, or immense ellipses stretching to infinity. We have all seen the deadly fall of Comet ICY 2 years ago. It was its first trip to the center of the solar system and turned out to be the last. Comet ICY came directly from the Oort cloud. Its fall had begun millions of years ago, when the early ancestors of Homo sapiens still had a long way to go to discover fire and the wheel and knew nothing about the stars. With such weird orbits, where do comets dare to go? Sometimes even inside the Sun. The Kreutz comet family, called sun grazers, is made of fragments of an old comet that exploded, and they are all doomed to fall inside the Sun, never to come back. Comets travel in space at their own risk, as they are easy prey of the gravity of stars and planets that can dramatically change their orbit, throwing them toward entirely new regions, tearing their nuclei in pieces, or pulling them to crash on a planet. But behind this highly dangerous existence, comets keep their secret. This is what makes them able to explore over time places so distant and diverse. Comets may even migrate from one planetary system to another, only to end up falling on some planet, like they did here on Earth. For this reason, we are beginning to think of comets in a new key, no longer carriers of death, but of life. They may be the vectors propagating in space the basic seeds of life. This is the idea of panspermia. So now, let's imagine to ride our own mental comet, from aphelion to perihelion. Let's feel its acceleration on a breathtaking journey at increasing speed. Once in our lifetime, let's feel what it means to be a comet.